Welcome to Tech in the Car. I'm Oliver. This is the Honda HR-V and this is a self-charging hybrid. And the benefit of that is you don't have to plug it in, it keeps going. In fact, it can do over 400 miles on a tank of fuel with its 1.5 litre 4-cylinder engine and its electric motor. The electric motor has 131 PS of power and the engine, which is a 4-cylinder engine, 1.5 litre, has 107 horsepower. On a car which has a WLTP range of around 63 miles per gallon, and when I've been driving it I've got over 50, which means this is a super efficient car. Is a self-charging hybrid the answer, or is a full plug-in hybrid the answer? Well, Honda make a good variety of cars. They have the Honda E, which I love. They've got their sporty cars like the Civic Type R. The new version is coming, and this hybrid is a mid-size crossover SUV, and it looks the part as well. I don't think you can question that. We've got really cool 18-inch wheels. We've got this really aggressive looking design. I think it's aggressive. We've got these cool door handles at the back, which I love, also like on the Honda E. And we've also got a full wrap round back light as well. At the front we have LED lights with dynamic indicators, just like you'd get on an Audi, which swipe from side to side. This car also has all the latest technology feature, and it's available in 3 trims: Elegance, Advance, and Advanced Style. This is the Advanced, but this is not the top trim. The Advanced Style is more stylish. The Elegance model starts at £29,410, going up to around £34,000 for the Advanced Style. We also have all the latest assistant technology here, plus Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We've also got a digital key using the Honda app. Maybe it's time for you to change your car. Maybe you fancy a change. Maybe you want one of these Honda HR-V hybrids or something else. Well, I partnered with exchangемycar.com, the smart way to sell your car. You can get a quick and easy quote on the link down below, so check that out. And Exchange My Car will collect your car and pay you before they leave with it. So you'll get your money straight away in the bank. Plus you can also part exchange. So check out the link down below, and thank you to exchangemycar.com, the smart way to sell your car. From the front here, we have really interesting grille design. It's just a very aggressive looking bonnet. We've even got these little indents in the bonnet, which make it stand out and make it look more sporty, which is, you know, interesting on a hybrid car. At the back here, we have this fantastic full width light bar. I love light bars in the back of cars. They're becoming very common, but still they look really cool. This, of course, being an SUV, being practical, has an automatic tailgate that I can press open. And we've got 335 litres of space here on the Advanced and the Elegance. And then on the Advanced Style trim, this goes down to 320, so there's slightly less space on here. And then of course we've got tether points and hooks on here. We've got a nice little cover here. There's a hook here. We've got tether points down there. And you can put the back seats down. And if you do that, unfortunately, there's no button here. You have to do it from the inside, or you can do it like that, which is not the most elegant way of doing things. But if you do that, it can go down flat, and then you have about 1,025 litres of space here. So there's a lot of space here. You can fit a good 55-inch TV in there if you want to go shopping in Costco maybe. You can get a special trim level with a more sporty spoiler, and also you can get a sports pack and a black pack as well to make it all black. You can also get a titanium pack for the exterior and the interior, and it's got this sort of goldish titanium design. This area here becomes that color. Around the lights it goes that color, and inside, which is a separate pack, the steering wheel surrounds all go titanium, gold titanium color. So there's some interesting customizations you can have on this car. So let's take this car for a drive in London. Let's see how efficient this self-charging hybrid is in the traffic of London. And is it good to drive? Let's find out now. We start off in the Honda HR-V in EV mode. Now, this is, as I mentioned, a self-charging hybrid. The benefit of having a self-charging hybrid is you don't need to plug it in, but that's also a negative, because with a plug-in hybrid, you get a specific range, 30, 40 miles, and you can set EV mode on its own, and you know that wherever you go, you're going to get that range. That means you can drive around town, city, probably all day, and never actually use any petrol, which, considering the cost of petrol right now, is a big help. Now, with this car, you don't choose when you get EV mode. It decides for you, which means that you don't get a specific range from the manufacturer that you can drive around. You do still get an EV mode, and obviously that's one of the benefits here. I've been in EV mode for the last 3 or 4 miles since I left my home, and I'm continuing to use it sitting in London traffic now. I'm not burning fuel, I'm not wasting it,
and that's really, really beneficial. And that is where a hybrid comes in really handy, because you get the best of an electric car and the best of a traditional motor car. So those things are really, really helpful as I drive in EV mode through the London city centre. We're going to end up at Wimbledon in a little bit, and really I wanted to see how this car does when you're sitting in traffic, and also see how it does in the park. So we're going to see a bit of both traffic and also in the park, in nature. This car, if we talk about the specifics of it, we've got around 250 horsepower combined from the electric motor and the engine, which is a 4-cylinder engine. And then we've got, again, around 280 Newton meters of torque from the combined motor and engine. So, you know, it's got a pretty decent amount of power. It's got a pretty decent amount of torque. Now, let's talk about the gearbox. So we have reverse, as you would expect, neutral, and we've got drive, but we've also got a B mode. B stands for the regen braking, which means that it will basically allow you to essentially one pedal drive. Now, it's not quite the same as an electric car, but it's very close, and you can almost one pedal drive in this B mode, and you can adjust the actual strength of that quite happily on here, but at its maximum it almost brings you to full stop. So it's like very relaxed regen braking on an electric car, be fair to say. But what it does mean is the power goes back into the motor, so your electric range goes back up. So actually sitting in traffic like this, the car is refilling the battery all the time. So actually in traffic it can stay in EV mode for long periods of time, and that saves you. So how does the HRV drive? Well, we've got a really good driving position, can see the road very, very clearly. The steering is pretty responsive. I think, you know, for a small size SUV crossover, it actually responds quite well, in all honesty. I'm quite impressed with the steering. It's not got a vague feeling to me. It feels pretty sporty, and that's a good thing, definitely. Like I mentioned before, we have our different modes. We have our regen braking mode. Now, you can't use the adaptive cruise control and lane assist in the regen braking mode, because it automatically takes the speed out of the car to put the power back into the battery. So you can only use adaptive cruise control with it in the normal D mode. But if you're in the B mode for regen braking, then obviously you are recharging your battery in the car, and therefore you're getting a more efficient journey. And that combined motor and engine is what gives this car the really good economy. WLTP is around 459 miles of range, and I've seen over 50 miles per gallon, although officially it's meant to be around 63 miles per gallon. So this is a very, very efficient car. There's no question about it. We're talking super efficient. And I love the fact that the petrol gauge has barely gone down, even though I've driven about 200 miles. I still have a range of over 300 miles according to car. So that's a really, really good thing. Welcome to the front of the HRV. Now, Honda have got a very, very standard steering wheel design. I quite like it. We've got nice feeling synthetic leather here. We've got a heated steering wheel on this, the advanced trim level. We've got our lane assist, our cruise control, our home button to navigate through. And on our infotainment system, we have an interesting display. We have analog dials on the right, and on the left we have dials which show the charge, and you can scroll through them and choose different modes depending on what you want using a little scroll wheel. And you have a lot of choice: power and charge, power flow, range of fuel, speed and time, audio, phone, navigation, speed, alarm, seatbelt, safety support, customized display, and information. So if you put it into power charge, then you get a little green and blue section like a rev counter, where when it's blue it's using a battery power, and when it's green it's charging the battery. Now, one thing which does slightly confuse me is this infotainment display, because it's slightly tilted to the left away from the driver. It's like it's tilted towards the passenger. Now, I can't decide if that's because Honda want the passenger to control everything on the infotainment display, or if it's meant when the steering wheel is on the other side to be for the driver, which wouldn't make sense, because in Japan, where Honda comes from, the steering wheel is on the same side as the UK. So why would they make a screen facing the opposite side of where the steering wheel is, unless they're designing it for Europe? So I don't know, for US, Europe, I don't know. It's a bit weird, it's a bit strange. It's not actually so noticeable in the daytime. I find it is more obvious in the night, because you can see the lights kind of shining away from you. In the daytime, the screen is fine. It's a tiny little thing, a bit confusing, but it's there. We've got
digital controls here for the climate control, which are very easy to use. That's good. We've got 2 USBs, one for charging, one for connecting to Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We've got a 12 volt down here. We've got a little space here where you can store stuff, 2 cup holders. We've got a little cubby hole here where you again can store more stuff. We've got our electronic brake, we've got our drive mode button down here. So one thing which is unusual is these air diffusers. So instead of having traditional little dials to adjust the amount of air coming out of the air conditioning unit, on here we've got a different system where we've got 3 options: no air, normal air, and diffused air. And when you turn it to the diffused air setting, the air is meant to move around the car and give you a better environment, which feels better and has better airflow, and just, you know, makes you feel better, because more air makes you feel better. So that's an interesting thing I haven't seen on any other cars. I like that a lot. So how about seating space in the back here of the HR-V? Well, I've got quite a lot of space here. I'm fairly comfortable. The only thing which is slightly annoying there is the headrest, but we've sorted that out. You can see here, I mean, it's very spacious. I've got tons of space for my knees. I've got tons of space, 178 for my head. I've got arm room. These windows are a bit narrow, which is to be expected because it's quite a sporty-esque, coupe-esque almost design to the back of this HR-V. And yeah, it's very comfortable. This confused me a bit when I first saw it. The seat belt, the middle center seat belt, that's very clever. It works just like a normal seat belt. It's hanging from the top though. Slightly confusing if you don't realize what's going on there, but that means you've got extra safety in the back of the car, which is something which is very, very good. We've got 2 USBs down here. We've got a little pocket here. We've got climate controls. Obviously, they're the same as the front, but you do have the ability to adjust them and adjust the amount of air. We've got some pockets here. We've got a little cup holder here on the side of the door. This is actually a very, very comfortable and spacious rear for this car, so I'm impressed with that. So what do I think of this Honda HR-V? Well, first of all, it's a really, really cleverly done car. It feels a lot more sporty than you would expect from a small SUV. It's got very, very, very good efficiency. It has tons of range thanks to the combination of the electric motor and the very, very capable engine that this car has. Inside, it's got all the technology you can want. It's got all the safety features. You can regen braking on it, which means that you put the battery power back into that battery, and so you can keep using the EV range for longer. If I was honest, the only thing I wish that the cars would be the ability to choose EV mode as its own separate mode. However, because this is a self-charging hybrid, that's not possible. If you want that, you need a plug-in hybrid, which this is not. However, for everything else, this does the job really, really well. There's a lot of space in the back. You can fit lots of stuff in. It's surprisingly spacious seated in the back of it. I was really surprised when I got in the back how much space there was. And it's pretty good value. Starting at around £28,000, it has everything you can want. And Honda are really good at making the trims really easy to understand. We've got our 3 different trims, which means that really it's quite easy to decide what you want and what features you need. And then you can add some finishing touches with the extra packs for design on the interior and the exterior if you want to. So all really, really easy to sort out. One thing I'm not fond of is the way the infotainment screen faces away from the driver towards the passenger side. Now, it won't make any difference to you in day-to-day driving. It's still very easy to use. It's still easy to see. Everything is perfect. It's just a little niggle, which I find a bit strange as a design choice, and I can't figure it out because, like I said, if it's designed for Japan, where they drive on the same side of the road as the UK, then the screen should not be facing away. Because normally the screen would be facing the driver. If they designed it purposely to face the passenger as a safety feature, interesting. I haven't seen that on other cars yet. Overall, good car, has everything you want from a hybrid small SUV. It's good value. I would definitely say that if you're in the market, you should check one out. Don't forget you can check out my other videos on the Honda E and the Civic Type R. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe for more on the channel. Thank you very much.